your engine.
You're experiencing the most listened to talk show in the Northwest.
This is the Ron and Don Show
On News Talk 97.3, KIRO FM.
You can start in Russia under the shadow of the massive Vladimir Lenin statue. And after just a short walk, you'll meet a character most well known from a popular Norwegian children's tale.
Little Billy Goat Gruff said, "It is I, little Billy Goat Gruff." The big bad troll said, "I'm a troll, foldy roll, I'm a troll."
People from around the world come to see this giant cement troll who lives under the Aurora Bridge, but a lot of us have no idea where it came from. That's why Michael Falcone has been working for the past 3 years on a documentary called Hall of Giants. I met with him and UW architect professor Steve Badanes, one of the artists who created the troll in front of his creation. Steve says the location was pretty gritty in 1990, the year the troll was built.
It was like a lot of bridges in North America. It was mattresses and bottles and crack pipes and the normal stuff you find under a bridge anywhere, and they thought maybe a piece of public art could help deal with that problem, and so they sponsored a competition.
They is the Fremont Arts Council. The troll design went up against several others, including a giant chair, and won in a public vote at the Fremont Fair. The design was, in fact, based on the popular children's story.
You know, and I guess that old story of the three billy goats Gruff and the troll under the bridge is kind of lodged in your brain from way back as a kid. We went to the library, got some images of trolls out of a book, and one of them had this big shiny eye.
It only took a few months to build the troll, who is clutching an actual VW Beetle.
Black Duck Motors had a VW that had been in the front end wreck, but it doesn't really matter. We got the idea of making it into a time capsule, and school kids from all over Seattle came and brought stuff to put in there. Then people thought there might be something valuable in it, so it was broken into a bunch of times in the early years, and the only thing that was taken was this bust of Elvis Presley. There are ashes of a friend that are in there. A friend of ours who died during the construction, and we got a little piece of him and put him in there. Sandy Smith, she would have loved the project. She didn't get to see the end of it. And so we thought, well, okay, she wanted some of them in there. The rumor that Kurt Cobain's ashes are in there, and that's not true.
They were only given $15,000 to build the troll, but Steve says that might have been to their benefit.
Sometimes it helps. It's certainly true in architecture. Some of the most expensive projects turn out to be the ones where nobody was able to make a decision because you could have anything you wanted. When you have limited resources, you're forced to be a little bit more creative. The budget was incredibly tight compared to this piece of public art under the other I-5 bridge. Cost over $100,000 in its day, which was before this one, and I don't think anybody knows about it.
Mike, an accountant by day, went into this project focusing on the troll, but he ended up learning a lot about the neighborhood and how art has made it what it is today.
This neighborhood was a hard-scrabble neighborhood. J.R. Burke had a mill down on the canal, and it closed up, and a lot of jobs went away, and this area went into decline. So what happens? I mean, when you have cheaper rent, you have artists come in and take over and basically beautify the area. And because of that, it became a more popular neighborhood. Some of the things that the troll represents, the specter of gentrification and development, really. The troll's greatest enemy is development and pollution, right? That's part of the mythos.
He's excited to release his film this summer so people can learn the stories behind the icon.
It's interactive. You know, it's not like a lot of art where it's behind a piece of glass. You can go up to it, you can stand on it, and it's just fun. You know, there's a lot of whimsy to it. It's an icon.
I thought it was really cool what he said about the artists. I had never thought about that before. It's just what's happening in Georgetown right now and what's happening in the Central District, these places that nobody hangs out. It's a poor neighborhood. And I always just think about crime coming in, not an artist coming in and making it cool.
The thing that was amazing to me is I moved here in 1991 and then saw the troll, I think, within the first couple of months that I moved here. And so I didn't know that it had just been built. So in my mind, it's always been there. Mm-hmm. And so I assume that it looks to me like something that would be built in the 60s.
Well, it's nothing slick. It doesn't look modern or slick at all. It kind of looks like a big version of what your kid might make when they're in ceramics class in high school.
And so that's surprising to me that it's that young. I thought that the people that had made this were long gone. And the other thing that I think it works in its favor, he brought up the other piece of art under a different bridge. This particular bridge is perfectly suited to go up to. It's not over water, like there's a road underneath it, so you can drive right to it. Sometimes you stumble upon it when you're trying to find a parking space and you turn off the road and then you go down and you're, oh, there's the troll.
Yeah.
Boom, it's right there. So I think you can get foot traffic in there, you get car traffic in there, and although there may have been crack pipes in there when they built it the first time, now it's safe to walk up there, and I think that it goes in its favor, that it's sort of a slanted hill that all points end right at the troll. And you and I have been there together and climbed on it and did all kinds of stuff. So the movie's out now?
It's finished. It's almost finished, but he's waiting for SIF to be over because he didn't have it done in time, so he doesn't want it to get covered up by this film festival that's currently going on. So this summer, look for it. I will put a link up on our website so that you can follow them on Facebook and keep track if you want to see the film.
How does Fremont feel to you? Do you feel like Fremont has changed, Rachel? Because there are some developers that got a hold of some of the buildings, and some of the buildings they built right there in the downtown area.
Oh, when the first Adobe building, people lost their mind.
It's almost over the top, hey, we're artsy. And I don't think the people of Fremont wanted such... I don't think they necessarily wanted buildings like that. Because it does feel so...
Are you talking about that one near PCC with all the accoutrement on the outside?
It's so over the top.
I would rather see that any day than just a plain old boring condo that is being built all over the city. I mean, that's what is lacking, in my opinion, on modern architecture. I mean, I always live in these brick buildings that are built in the 20s or the 30s, and I think they look so cool. And inside you have these arches and all of these different moldings and stuff. And the new buildings, it's just white walls, nothing. The outside is just these beige colors. I would always rather go over the top and make something interesting to look at, so at least we have something, that looks cool.
All right, I want to get both of your opinions on this because it was a huge controversy when it happened. There was I believe it was a woman. She owned the property on either side of the Fremont Bridge, and at the time, it was old, sort of dilapidated wooden buildings. Some of them were boathouses. Some of them were just warehouses.
Mike's Chili's house is still there.
And so what she did is she owned this for a long, long time, and then developers came in. She sold the land to them.
Isn't this the story from that Pixar film Up?
Yes. She made a lot of money on an investment of the property. So you have Adobe on one side. They didn't build an ostentatious building. I mean, it sort of sits down next to the water. On the other side, you have that gym and more tech companies that moved in there. People lost their mind over that because she was framed up as a money-hungry person that was destroying the soul of Fremont.
Are you talking about the woman that lives in you're talking about a different woman.
Different woman.
You're not talking about the woman
that lived in the house.
That Linda Thomas writes about.
No.
Who lived in that little house and
I'm talking about no, not the woman from the Up House. Okay. I'm talking about the major chunk of land on the right and the left side of the bridge, on the main Fremont Bridge, not the bridge with the troll. And people lost their minds. It's like, oh, you're building this new building and you're destroying our soul.
Ballard Bridge or Fremont?
I know.
Fremont Bridge.
Too. Okay, not Mike's Chili House, where Adobe is.
Adobe. There's Adobe software on the right-hand side.
Fremont Bridge.
The Fremont Bridge. And so people lost their mind.
I just hear a woman that lived in a house that sold it.
She didn't live in a house. She owned that land.
Didn't she live in a shoe?
Didn't she live in a shoe?
All right, never mind.
She had a lot of kids, right?
People were so upset with her personally.
I'm not upset with
for making a lot of money on this house that turned into a shoe over by Mike's Chili.